Hello, and welcome to this week's Movie Math, where the charts, both box office and streaming, continue to be full of drama, just the way we like them. And yes, it's true, Minecraft still has a shot at the $1 billion club. Oh boy, even with the onslaught of competition, but two of the movies, The Amateur and Warfare, ended up really competing more with each other for the male, largely white and Latino audience. So, what makes me say $1 billion is still in play for Minecraft? Well, for one, at the end of just its second weekend, it's already passed $500 million. That's a lot of diamonds, wow! But it is falling behind Super Mario Bros., which at the end of its second weekend was at $353 domestic, while Minecraft is at $280. However, Super Mario Bros. Opened for Easter weekend, while Minecraft has yet to hit Easter. That happens this coming weekend. Let's take a look at Easter. Potentially big movie-going weekend. Spring break's still going, kind of, right? Isn't today Palm Sunday as well? It's interesting. How does the Easter holiday correlate with your movie-going habits? All right, so Warner Brothers loves Easter this year. Woo! They've not only got Minecraft, which will be in its third weekend, but Sinners is opening. An interesting choice for Easter, unless, of course, the movie has religious aspects. I'm seeing it tomorrow. I'm very excited to review it. So far, it has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, based off of very early reviews. And if it does have, I never thought of Sinners. I guess it kind of is like in the title. Obviously, maybe it might have some religious elements. I didn't think of it as an Easter movie, but now I'm like, there must be a reason they opened it on Easter weekend. So that's very interesting to me. However, it is expected to only open between 30 and 40 million. What? Which might, we're going to talk next week. When the rights revert back to the filmmaker, in this case, Ryan Coogler, he negotiated a landmark deal where after I think like 25 years, it leaves Warner Brothers library and goes to the Coogler family. Well, are they going to work as hard to promote and campaign for awards for a film that will not remain in their library forever? Let's see. Warner Brothers, they can't lose. The two big movies for Easter weekend are theirs. So that might not be enough to take the number one spot away from Minecraft, which, following in the path of Super Mario Brothers and Minions 2, I'm using those as the comparison films, it could have a third weekend between 40 and 50. In fact, movie theaters like Regal are even promoting special Chicken Jockey 4DX screenings for Easter Sunday. Why are these screenings on Sunday night on Easter? Who's going to want to go nuts after Easter dinner? Maybe that's the time to do it. I don't know. I don't know who plans this stuff, but I think it should be the Saturday of Easter weekend or the Friday. I think it's kind of nuts on Sunday night to lose you. I'll be curious to see if anyone's even at those screenings. But we'll see. How long can this mayhem go? It's still going. I thought it would just last the one weekend. Some of you pointed out that Five Nights at Freddy's, good point, was day and date on Peacock and theaters, which is why it fell off so heavily. But, people are still having a good time with Minecraft, which is why I put it in the Minions 2 category, which had the same situation. And then also there's Angel Studios' religious animated movie, The King of Kings, which had a surprisingly strong opening weekend. Great headlines and very good word of mouth might really help that film as well in its second weekend. So again, what are your movie plans for Easter weekend? Now let's get back to Minecraft's journey to $1 billion. We're still having a question mark after it. I think it's going to be close at the very least. Well, let's see. So right now the movie is doing a touch better domestically, which is interesting because it's unusual. Usually movies do better, obviously, overseas. Usually it's a 60-40 split favoring overseas. Rarely it's a little bit a little over 50, which Super Mario Brothers was. But yeah, Minecraft is stronger domestically, but it's close to 50-50. Some industry insiders are saying that Minecraft will climb to a little under 500 million domestic. Wow. Which would be a touch under Super Mario Brothers, but way over Minions 2, which again was boosted by social media mayhem. Minions 2 got close to $1 billion still anyway, though, thanks to being much stronger overseas, which is usually the case with Illumination films, which are made they're made overseas, and they have very strong, incredibly strong, in fact, global appeal. So I personally see Minecraft definitely probably finishing in the 800s. That's amazing. maybe 900s. And I think $1 billion isn't out of the question. Although if it does get to $1 billion, it'll just get there. It'll just give it a kiss. Hey, billion, how you doing? Just a soft little kiss on the cheek. That's it. But it'll still technically have $1 billion. Not bad considering it's a break even of just $375 million. It already shot way past that. It's already all gravy, man. And Warner Brothers film heads Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi are taking that victory lap already in the trades because they don't want to get fired. And they're saying a sequel is a top priority for them. Of course it is. And obviously the sequel will need to introduce Alex, Steve's female counterpart in the game, who's already teased in the end credit scenes. If you haven't seen Minecraft by now, that's on you. Now, who are they going to cast? This is crucial. And it needs to be an actress who matches Jack Black and Jason Momoa's insane, beautiful synergy, like Jennifer Coolidge does. Ideally, you're going to want to find a younger Jennifer Coolidge, I think. Now, and also probably make Jennifer Coolidge's role bigger. That would be great too. They should definitely do that. I mean, are we going to see the wedding? All right, now, old school Hollywood would probably cast Rebel Wilson as Alex, and that would be really bad idea. I'd be like, wow, that would be a mess. But that's what old Hollywood would do. I think that Jared Hess, thankfully, is at the controls here, and he's really good at thinking outside the box. There's Melissa McCarthy, but I think she's also a bit too obvious. I'm not feeling that either. Who would you try to get? I think Catherine Hahn couldn't be hotter right now. I think she's good. Anna Faris. There's also Kristen Wiig, who's worked with Hess before and also really fits well with this. Because, it's hard because you need an actress who's going to bring in female viewers and not repel female viewers, and that has the film keep its quirky integrity. However, and I'm sure some of you have already started to type this, what made Minecraft the movie a success? Young men. So you need a female actress, a comedic actress to play Alex who will not turn them away in droves. You know who that made me think of? Nikki Glaser. I actually love that idea, and I would be calling her right now or emailing her agent. I'd be like, Nikki Glaser, let's make it happen. I think that would really, really work. So with that criteria, who would you cast as Alex in the Minecraft movie sequel? So yeah, 4 new movies open this weekend. Minecraft's like, bring it on. And get this, all their opening weekends together still couldn't match Minecraft's second weekend. That's hilarious. But surprise, surprise, there's still some good news in here. Angel Studios got themselves another hit finally after Sound of Freedom. They can do it. Animated religious film, The King of Kings, which boasts a very mainstream Hollywood voice cast. It's impressive who they got to sign on for that. The King of Kings has incredible audience scores. My goodness, it's an Easter miracle. And I think a lot of people who maybe wouldn't have considered seeing it before in theaters might change their minds after this opening weekend with the money and the scores. So I'm even kind of tempted to go. I mean, I watch the 10 Commandments every year, but, it's nice to add to the Easter movie library. Does this make you want to see The King of Kings maybe for theaters Easter weekend? Now, just like Sound of Freedom, Angel Studios used their secret weapon, crowdfunding. That's right, they did it again. With Sound of Freedom, you could donate tickets, which counted towards the film's box office, even if nobody showed up to claim said ticket. And that's why a lot of the theaters for Sound of Freedom were largely empty, which started a lot of conspiracy theories. But in fact, it was just people who donated those tickets and no one had claimed them. But the money's still good. So with King of Kings, it's a scooch different. It's kids specifically go for free. And so far, audiences have donated over 1.5 million tickets. That's incredible. When I went to visit the site today, you could see people donating tickets in real time. And that is very, very clever and strong marketing. I'm like, I gotta say, this is brilliant. And this time, you have to buy an adult ticket to get the free kids ticket. So that's a good way of making sure there are people actually in the theater. So far, this giveaway only lasts for this weekend. But don't be surprised if Angel Studios has some kind of promotion cooked up for Easter weekend, because they're doing a lot over there. They're really working for that money. They're also promoting a giveaway. Watch the video for it. It's hilarious. So it's a free trip worth $100,000, they say. You go to the UK, the Holy Land, and then you get also a home theater setup with like games and candy and popcorn machine and chairs. And so they say the more movie tickets you buy, the more chances you have to win that prize. So that's very clever as well. But I have to say, seriously, we can laugh, but this is very good. This is a good enough opening to prove that Sound of Freedom wasn't just a fluke and that Angel Studios is a real conservative movie studio that can compete. It's number 2. It has the number 2 movie of the weekend. It beat the other 3 movies that opened. I mean, that's just absolutely incredible. I even ate a little, even drank a sip of the Chosen's milkshake. Just a sip, but I mean, the Chosen missed it. And they were like, oh, I feel like there's a little less here, and there was. So that's amazing. Next up for Angel Studios, The Last Rodeo on Memorial Day weekend. You might be like, whoa, good luck going up against Stitch and Tom Cruise. But guess what? They're already implementing the same tactics. I checked because I was like, I wasn't sure if it was a limited release or not. So I clicked on their site and they're already selling tickets in advance. You can donate tickets here as well. And if you buy the tickets through Angel Studios website this early, they'll give you over 30% discount. And they're selling tickets, as you can see. It also is shown here in real time as well. It's pretty amazing. I think we should keep an eye on this. This is very clever. Do you think this is fair? And do you think mainstream Hollywood studios should maybe, yoink, take this idea? I mean, what big Hollywood movie would you donate tickets for? And you might be like, I would never do that. I would never donate tickets to help a big studio movie. I thought of one, Superman. So many of you, I bet, would donate tickets to help Superman, and Zazie would totally do this. As for the other movies that opened this weekend, The Amateur might have won the box office, but it was Warfare that won the hearts and minds of critics and audiences, which I think might help Warfare in the long run. It needs some help. But, that might help it not just to have staying power in theaters, although I think it's going to lose its screens real fast because, it's a small movie and it's already lost a lot of screens, even its opening weekend, to the crowded marketplace. There just aren't enough screens, particularly premium and even just big screens. What size screen did you end up seeing some of these movies on? But then, of course, there's always digital and streaming down the line. I saw The Amateur last night, and it is a perfect role for Rami Malek. Fits him like a glove. He really elevates what's pretty standard material, although by the end of the movie, I found it strangely unsatisfying. It was so weird. It was so good for the first 2/3, and then it just kind of deflated. Clearly, Malek and Disney Fox are hoping for a franchise, but I think it's more likely that this would do well on Hulu as a series. But does Malek want to backtrack to Mr. Robot territory? I mean, sure, he's got an Oscar, but the lead roles in movies aren't exactly pouring in, and he certainly is not very good at selling tickets. To be clear, I would definitely move The Amateur to become a streaming show on Hulu. And I would like to keep Malek in the role with a hefty payday, but if he won't do it, I'd just recast him. How about you? What do you see as the future of The Amateur, if anything? I mean, Rami Malek, it's been a minute since he won that Oscar. I think he should just start taking care of Rami Malek and again get that payday. As for Warfare, as we said, incredible scores, which again not only bode well for its business prospects, but might help it to be remembered down the line. Civil War, also from A24, also from Alex Garland, came out around this time of year. Totally forgotten by the time awards season came around. Poor Kirsten Dunst, she was like, I thought I was going to at least get nominated. Nothing. But this might stick around. A24, though, is tough. They always have a very full dance card. I mean, even some of the movies that opened during awards season at the end of the year couldn't stay in the pack because, they just get whittled away or they fall away. But I think that Warfare could really do well, particularly in the craft categories. I'm talking cinematography, sound, and I think editing. It's a very well edited film. I mean, I don't always notice editing, but I noticed it while watching this movie. And I think it has a good chance of a nomination, if not a win. We'll see what its second weekend drop looks like. But even if it doesn't do well in theaters, again, I think it could do very well on digital and streaming. And it's a great calling card for everyone involved with the film, both in front of and behind the camera. Speaking of drops, Drop also came out, Jason Blum's latest horror film, and it has strong scores, particularly for a horror film. That B is amazing for a horror film, although a B+ couldn't save Companion, another tech-heavy, female-led horror film that came out earlier this year, and in fact even opened a little bit better. Drop is the movie Christopher Landon directed after having to drop out of Scream because of all the drama with Melissa Barrera. And it stars Megan Fahey from The White Lotus and Brendan Sklenar, who I had to look it up and see if that was actually his last name. I was like, I must have a typo from autocorrect. And I'm like, nope, it's Sklenar. I can't believe his agent wasn't like, maybe we want to change, maybe just at least move some of the letters around. But anyway, he's from It Ends With Us and Yellowstone. But I don't think the ad campaign did a very good job playing up that pedigree. Did you know who was in Drop and who was associated with it? Or maybe you did know, and you just didn't care. As for the rest of the top 10, here's something interesting. The Chosen, week to week. Remember, it's 3 parts released every week. It's fallen consistently since its debut, which is weird to me. Like, if you signed on to watch The Chosen in theaters when you want to see how it ends after the first entry, who falls away? Although, of course, it will be on Prime Video in June, so maybe you're just waiting to watch the rest of it then. Although, of course, with this third and final entry, it also ended up having a lot of competition from The King of Kings. But get ready to eat good, Disney haters, because it continues to be a difficult 2025 for them. Thankfully, Lilo & Stitch is on the horizon and is tracking to open with over 100 million. Ka-ching! But Snow White, a month out, it still hasn't been able to hit $200 million. That's amazing. And it won't hit 100 million domestic. Remember, the break-even point for Snow White is 675. Wow, what a colossal failure. Talk about something that could break a mirror. Whew! The magic mirror is like, oh, so bad. All right, and then Captain America Brave New World has completely fallen out of the top 10, although this is its 9th weekend, to be fair. But the film is just a touch over 400 million worldwide and totally out of juice. It's not going to really make any more money than this. It hasn't hit its break-even point either. What's going on over there? And it has brought, a lot of you feel you know what's going on over there, and has brought in less than Quantumania. Whew! And as we discussed on Friday's live stream, Thunderbolts, speaking of tracking, right now is tracking very, very soft. You know, the trades brought up something interesting that I hadn't heard before, and I want to pass it on to you. There's apparently a superstition in Tinseltown that if the summer movie season doesn't kick off with a $100 million opening, it is a bad sign. Oh, so buckle up, baby, because it doesn't look like it's going to happen this year. Oh my God, what do you think are going to be the biggest movies of the summer? What a disaster. Can Thunderbolts open at 100 million? If it's tracking at 70 million, right? That's the middle of the range. Less than a month out, I think it's going to be really hard to do. We'll see. But while it continues to be rough for Disney on the big screen, on the small screen, it's more of a mixed bag, as they had a very, very big win. As Maui says, chee-hoo! Look at Moana 2 go, hitting Disney Plus like the demigod that she now is. If you haven't seen Moana 2 by now, that's on you. But wow, showing the tremendous strength of this brand. Surely Disney is so happy that Moana 2, the live action Moana, so much Moana, but the live action Moana has finished filming and is set to hit theaters next summer for July. Woo! And this is amazing. And it's fitting, by the way, that Moana 2 would do so well on Disney Plus because the streaming service is what grew it into a juggernaut in the first place. Remember? Moana's box office numbers were soft. Tangled, that was a little soft too. But when Moana hit theaters, it wasn't a huge hit. But for years now, it's been playing on Disney Plus, and it's just grown. I think Encanto, and they say Ratatouille also. I don't know. What do you think are the movies that Disney Plus has really blown up? But don't be surprised if you start seeing more Ratatouille as well places. But Moana, of course, is now everywhere in the Disney empire. So while Disney Plus might be struggling with originals, we're going to talk about Daredevil in a moment, the streaming service's ability to grow, strengthen, and deepen theatrical brands is extremely impressive and vital to the success of the Disney company and making up for some of those expensive Disney Plus originals. I wouldn't be surprised if Disney Plus, by the way, was also something that helped Mufasa in theaters because of the 2019's The Lion King being available on Disney Plus, etc. I think, there is a debate as to whether or not Disney Plus is hurting or helping Disney. And I think it's like a little bit like them raising the prices in their parks. Like, it's definitely causing damage, but the plus side is so strong, that I think it's going to be, it's so hard to know if you should sacrifice that to reverse the damage. Like, what's greater? What's the net? I think it's hard to tell. But yes, Disney Plus originals continue to struggle, with Daredevil Born Again still not even on the originals chart, much less the overall chart, which does not, and by the way, the originals chart doesn't feature a single Disney Plus show. Bluey is like keeping this thing afloat. And Moana. On the overall chart, Reacher, as you can see, is still super strong. And it's so weird that Alan Ritchson doesn't get more out of this. But he shouldn't be Batman. I think he'd be a horrible Batman. But he should be getting more than this, than he is. Although he does, speaking of Prime Video, he's going to be doing a Christmas movie for them opposite Arnold Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger name very hot right now, thanks to the White Lotus. We got generations going now. With Arnold Schwarzenegger. It used to just be Schwarzenegger, but now there's two of them. But with Arnold Schwarzenegger playing Santa Claus. Will this go to theaters or straight to Prime Video? Red One, I don't know if Red One worked or not, but I don't know. I would consider releasing this in theaters, maybe Angel Studios style with a little giveaway action. All right, so the White Lotus, speaking of the White Lotus, is climbing, even with split numbers with HBO. And Netflix managed to do the unthinkable. They found an audience for Craven. Hooray! I thought Craven was good. Adolescence is surprisingly low here, but remember, it was a sleeper hit. People didn't know about it, right? Like, it had to be discovered. So I think on next week's Nielsen's chart, remember they're a month behind, it'll be much higher. And 1923 is really doing well with its second season, making it onto the overall chart. With the originals chart, Running Point is showing impressive staying power, and with its season finale, sure enough, Invincible, as we expected, saw a pretty good surge, an incredible surge for adult animation. Severance is still a week away from its season finale. Next week's Nielsen charts will cover that, and it slipped a little bit here, but it's still doing well. Paradise, by the way, these two shows have been neck and neck for weeks. Paradise, of course, wrapped last week and has fallen off the chart. And yes, Wheel of Time fans, I see your show there. Congratulations. Golf clap. Golf clap. All right, here's the movie chart. Nothing to golf clap here. Not much happening outside of Moana 2's monster numbers. Now let's head over to Netflix's charts. Now with Netflix, we usually start with the movie side, but shows is where the action is, specifically Adolescence. Remember, Nielsen is a month behind. Netflix is just a week behind. Adolescence not only is doing well here, and so well that there's talks for a second season, as we also talked about on the live stream, as a potential anthology series, but on the all-time list, this thing is climbing like crazy. Adolescence is now at number 4. Last week when we talked on Movie Math, it was number 9. It's jumped to 4th place and will surely overtake Dahmer, as there's just 1 million views between them. But Stranger Things 4 will be harder to catch, so I think Adolescence will settle in onto this list at number 3, which is amazing. Medical drama Pulse debuted with okay numbers, but this reminds me of The Pit. I want to talk about The Pit. So many of you have been like, especially over the last week or so, Grace, do you watch The Pit? So last night I was like, I needed something to watch. I didn't want to watch something light or too far. I have some screeners from Apple that are so far away. I was like, I want to watch something a little bit more timely. So I was like, I'll try The Pit. Love it! I got through 3 and then I fell asleep. Because it was a little late. I mean, I love the show. The Pit, though, like Hacks, is a Max show, not HBO. So it could clearly benefit from the HBO affiliation, because I don't see no The Pit. I know we're talking about Netflix charts, but you think back to Nielsen, there was no Pit over there, and The Pit's been on Max since January. What the heck? I just started watching it last night after so many of you recommended it. It's a little bit of a dark show because it takes place in a Pittsburgh emergency room. Yay, Pittsburgh! I have family in Pittsburgh. But it's a really good. I'm really particularly enjoying it as a binge because it has a 24 style to it, and that it's each hour. It's like the actual hour in a day it's almost real time in this emergency room. I don't know how you guys watched it week to week. What was that experience like? Because I'm really enjoying it as a binge. Warner Brothers is promoting some sexy numbers, but these are for worldwide, not just domestic. Again, it's 15 episodes in total, and it just wrapped, and it's been already greenlit for a season 2, which they're turning around very quickly. It'll come out next year because I suspect this is a very cheap show to make. While I was watching it, I was like, this is fantastic because it all takes place in just this emergency room. So you don't even usually have to build a set for this. Maybe they did, but you find an abandoned hospital and you just film there. So it's an extremely well-made show, not just creatively, but business-wise as well. How do you think Warner Brothers can get the pit on these charts? I mean, Max shows do seem to be a bit of a disadvantage. Like The Last of Us and White Lotus are HBO shows. Even The Penguin, which didn't get on till the very end, the charts. I think though, between the season 1 and season 2, its audience is really going to grow, particularly because it is such a good binge. I think it'll be a little bit like Severance. Like people started to be like, as you guys have done, you got me onto it, and now I'm passing it on. People were like, what a show! And it started to grow and grow and grow. And then when season 2 launches, a lot more people are like, we're ready. All right, back to Netflix's charts. The Residents, also an excellent show, but it's doing okay. It's doing okay. I don't know if this is good enough to warrant a second season, although maybe Netflix will take into account the bad timing of dropping opposite pop culture and cultural phenomenon Adolescence. I think that was a tough break for The Residents. I would like to see it get one more season, just to really see what it can do, because it's a great show. Would you greenlight The Residents for a second season? With movies, Sophia Carson continues to do very well on Netflix, and there's Keke Palmer at number 2, a distant number 2, but still better than everybody else on the list. Over on the digital chart for Apple, we finally got some new movies on here. We've been looking at the same movies for months, but Mickey 17 finally came out on digital after a lot of false starts, and it's number 1. So that's very good for that movie. It had a very hard time theatrically. Black Bag is still doing very well, and there's recent releases Novocaine and Alto Nights on there as well. And there's Companion back in the top 10 because it's now a $6 rental, but keep in mind, if you haven't already spent that money, it's going to be on Max this Friday. And yikes, Mila Jovovich and Dave Bautista, what are you doing? Making money is, I guess, what they're doing, but I hope it was a lot because that's embarrassing. Glad to see The Monkey kind of holding on as well. Kind of holding on, but it's still in there. You know what's not in the top 10, though, and never was when we've been looking at it? Paddington in Peru. I wonder why that third film didn't really hit with North American audiences. Family films are so popular these days. I know it went up against Dogman, but did Dogman really cause that much damage? Maybe it did. But I also think a factor was that they released it so much earlier in the UK and other countries, like before Christmas. So by the time it came to North America, it felt like it had been out for an extremely long time. As for this coming week, as I said, it's Easter weekend, and we have Sinners debuting. A lot of eyes on this big movie, not just because it's Ryan Coogler, but because it's such a special deal with Warner Brothers. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. And there's also the new remake of The Wedding Banquet with Bowen Yang, Lily Gladstone, and Kelly Marie Tran hitting theaters as well. Then Tuesday, big day on digital, I guess because of the Easter week. You've got Captain America 4, A Working Man, The Woman in the Yard, and the Looney Tunes movie all dropping. As for streaming movies, Netflix is doing something a little different. They have a behind-the-scenes documentary about their Broadway. Well, first it was in the UK on the West End, and now it's on Broadway, their Stranger Things prequel, which I saw last weekend. Loved it. Don't miss the opening. The theater is not so well, although I heard this was a problem in the UK as well. But it's very hard to load this show, but they won't delay the start, I guess because of union problems. I don't think they pay overtime or something like that. So if you're going to see Stranger Things on the West End or on Broadway, make sure you get there insanely early because you're not going to want to miss that opening. It's the coolest thing in the show. But also, there's a lot of important information, obviously, because it's a prequel about Henry Creel, aka Vecna, and some new characters are introduced. So those could, I think, very likely factor into season 5. And this documentary, again, will show how this show was conceived and created. As for shows, big night tonight, The Last of Us returns. They're really pushing it hard. I got emails in my inbox. I get both press and fan emails. Warner Brothers is pushing it for HBO Max. Sony is pushing it because they make the show. They've taken over the whole Max interface with The Last of Us. So we'll see if it's a really big deal. After you watch tonight's first episode, be sure to come back here for my breakdown of all the goodies. All right, so then on Wednesday, Apple TV continues to push hard with new content. They're going for it. And there's a sale right now, by the way. I'm not sure if it's still going on, but they were offering 3 months at $2.99 each. But this week, Government Cheese starts. While on Thursday, Netflix has Yellowstone meets Virgin River. I think that's actually an excellent pitch, with Minka Kelly and Josh Duhamel starring, which I think is excellent casting. This could be big. This could be big. Keep an eye on that. And if you like that sort of thing, you might want to tune in. And also on Thursday, Rami Youssef debuts his own animated show on Prime Video, Number One Happy Family USA. Well, wow, Noah Wyle sure is busy. He's jumping from the pit to season 3 of Leverage Redemption. I believe that's its final season, which also starts on Thursday on Prime Video. So that's this week's Movie Math. What have you been watching? What do you plan to watch? And what do you think will be the next big hit in theaters after Minecraft? Will it be Sinners? Will it be Thunderbolts? Or were you going to have to wait till Lilo and Stitch and Mission Impossible? Share those thoughts down below. Subscribe today. And of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.